my Operation Make a Unique and Cool 350Z, I think, is going pretty well. The bodywork took ages and getting all the little dinks and things out of there, but got it all done. Got the new spoiler on, got it done. The wrap is looking good. The full custom interior with Alcantara and leather and suede and carbon fibre is all looking good. The custom badges, done e-gold on the front and on the side and on the back, are all looking good. Everything's looking good except for the wheels and the calipers. The wheels and the calipers are not looking good. I don't think these have ever been done since, probably since the car was hit the road. There's loads of these big marks. Admittedly, some of these were me that I did, like these little bits here are Bondo that dripped down when I was doing the merge line. The wheels need doing, as do the calipers. So that's what we're going to start doing today. We're going to start by doing 2 wheels at a time, so one side, just because I'm limited with axle stands. We're going to redo the wheels in Ray's Cosmic Bronze, which I think is going to look sick alongside this iridescent red black. The calipers we're going to redo in classic Brembo red, and redo the Brembo like logos on them in gold, the same as we've got up on the windows, and then put it all back together. Now we want to show how we can do this at home with like minimal material, minimal costs. So it's all going to be done with Rattle spray cans, albeit good quality ones. So we're going to show how you can take your wheel from looking like this through to looking something a bit more like this. Let's start by just getting the car in the air, getting these wheels off. Right, so that's the easiest bit done. We've got a couple of stands on the pinch welds underneath here, and yeah, so generally speaking this car is okay, you know, as far as things like rust go, it's not too bad. The back is definitely the worst of the two, you know. All in all, it's not awful. One thing I'm going to want to do though, whilst I do all this, so the calipers are getting done, the wheels are getting done, I want to paint these bits on the rotors, because the rotors are actually in alright condition, so they don't really need replacing yet. So I'll probably just clean up and then paint these. Plus the whole inside of here needs doing. When I was preparing the bodywork for wrapping, I got some like primer overspray, so there's some grey overspray on the inside, especially like on this inside edge. So I'm going to sort all that as well while I'm in here and kind of like black it all down a bit better. So yeah, it should start to look loads better. But we're going to do the calipers whilst they're on the car, so we're going to do a paint job whilst not removing them. So we'll show you how to do that. Same with the rotors. And then we're going to start by doing these 2 wheels, get them all finished, get them put back on the car, and then lift the other side and repeat. That's it. So in an ideal world, you'd obviously just hit this with a bit of sandpaper, you know, 240 grit, something like that, and it would all smooth down. But we're not in an ideal world, so it's probably going to take a fair bit of work. First thing I just want to do is remove the center caps, because I'm going to treat those separately, because they've got that Nissan logo on them. and I'm undecided yet how I'm going to finish that Nissan logo. So that thing's probably just going to get painted separately. But we also have the wheel weights on here, and I'm going to want to try to remove them. They should come off easily enough unless someone has monstrously glued them down. So this is obviously the inside part of the rim, and it's not going to matter as much with the finishing compared to the outside. So when we get to painting, we can basically, as long as we've painted the inside drum and very loosely around this outside edge, it's going to look great, because you're not ever going to be able to see this inside bead. And then on the front, we need to do the whole thing. God, I did back and shoulders at the gym yesterday, so I'm aching. And here we want to get this, all as smooth as possible. And most decent grit sandpaper will get down there probably pretty easy. So this is a 180. We start with a bit of this, just for some dry sanding. See how it gets on, and if it needs to be more abrasive, I've got a mouse sander here that we can use. It might speed the job up a little bit. So we'll start with a bit of this, just on a simple front face. So getting these smooth is not too difficult. The thing is, these wheels aren't in bad condition at all. There's some bits on the second one like I showed you earlier where I have overflow from Bondo, but the actual condition of the wheels is really good. There's no major dinks or things. There's a few spots where we've got curb rash, which is what you expect. So all we're going to be doing to start with is just sanding it down, but it looks like the curb rash is really minimally on the surface, and it's probably just in the paint layer as opposed to being like scraped down into the metal, which could save me a ton of time. It's been about 50 minutes and the front of this is now done. It's all nice and smooth. All around this edge is smooth, which is ideal. I always trust the finger test. So just rub your finger on things and make sure that they're nice and smooth. So now it's just going to be a case of flip it and do the inside of the barrel. And I think most of that we can just do with the mouse sander, which will save us tons of time. So let's just get in there and start whipping that bad boy about. In the end, it took about 90 minutes to do the whole wheel. And you see we've got the inside of the drum all nice and smooth. There are a couple of spots where paint or powder coat or whatever it might have been before started to flake off when I hit it with the mouse sander, but a bit of time smoothing it out. It looks like there's edges, but you can't feel them, they're smooth. So once we've gone over those with some primer, these should come up real nice. So all I need to do is prep the second wheel, so I've got the second one off at the moment, so we'll do that after I've had a little break and a bite to eat, and then we'll do the second one, then mask them all up, clean them up with some isopropanol, and hopefully we'll paint them today. 2 wheels sanded. These are both now real smooth. Oh gosh, it is windy. And yeah, they're ready to clean up and paint. So what I'm going to do is just wipe them down with a wet cloth just to get all the sand and everything off, the sandpaper bits. Then we'll clean them down with isopropanol, mask them all off, and put down some primer. As you can probably tell, it is real windy today, so I'm not going to try and paint these out in the garden. I'm going to break the cardinal sin and paint these inside the house, but I'm going to cover the entire kitchen in a plastic sheeting first. But yeah, ready to paint, so yes, let's get into it. Took a while, but we are all wrapped. So yeah, inside the hole here, the back like this, and then all the way around these lips is all wrapped and ready to go. So now it's Priming time. Prime time. Making sure I've got like good coverage everywhere, because I've only got half a can of this per wheel, which means I've got basically one coat, which I think is fine. It looks like it's got good coverage. It's looking very smooth in fact, which is great. Couple of coats, couple of sandbacks, couple of bits around the edges, just like here, just needed sanding a couple of times, and then a bit more paint just to make sure everything's nice and smooth. But now it is, so we're on to bronze. This is where we get to see what the colour actually looks like, because I've only seen pictures. It's a Ray's official colour, so it's going on Ray's wheels. Should be good. Cool, that's that fixed. So I'm just going to give that 10 minutes to dry, then I'm going to do a second coat. So after you've let the main coat sit for 24 hours, they're good to lacquer. So you can put down the top coat, and you need to just basically leave it a full day before you do that. So that's what happened, and I'm just giving this a quick rub down just to remove any dust. And no, it's not ideal doing it out in the garden, but doing lacquering and painting in the house makes the house stink and gives everybody a toxic headache, so we're going to try and avoid that. Like I said at the start of this video, I'm using this E-Tech Clear wheel lacquer, so it's harder than most lacquers. This is what you want on a wheel. Get off, little fly. Spin it. Start with the holes. Outside bead. Inside edge of rim, including the bit in between the spokes. Bit in between each of the spokes. That's the spokes and the front face. Good. One coat on one. We'll do the second one and then give it 15 minutes, do a second coat of both, and then leave these to dry. It's a day or two later. Wheels are drying and stuff in there, so I'm just currently out working on the calipers. Got the pads out. That rear pad pain did not want to come out, but it's out, and I'm just going to clean it all up as best I can, sand it down, like all of these kind of like little spots where it's chipped over the years of abuse and people trying to get out stubborn brake calipers, all just needs sanding down to get it all as smooth as possible. I'm going to mask it all off and just hit it with the red straight on, no primer or anything. It should be fine. It's an etching paint, so it'll just bond in there, but yeah, time to clean it. Typically, when you've used very high temperature lacquer, you're going to want to bake the item for like 30 minutes at 160 degrees. I can't do that because I take the calipers off. So instead I'm heat gunning it. And it's not going to be as good, but it should be fine. Plenty of people have done this in the past. These are definitely looking very red at this point, which I guess is the idea. On the way home from walking the dog. Ready? Yeah, she wants to see the car, and you'll see now the right hand side of the car is in the air and the calipers need to be done, which means the other side is finished. Ready? This way, come on. Let's go around, let's have a look. Dun, dun, dun. There they are. Now, they're looking a bit high at the moment. The arches are not in the right spot because the other side of the car is lifted, so everything's a bit all over the place. But that's what they look like. Bronze with the red calipers. Red calipers looking spicy. The weather is against me at the moment, so I'm just going to wait until tomorrow. It's supposed to be good again tomorrow, so getting the wheels sorted, they're being painted in the house, and then we'll finish these rotors and then get it all back done. Actually, I need to get the wheels balanced then, and the dog is crying because the neighbour likes to give her treats and she thinks she's there, but she's not there. Silly dog, come on, come on. I'm perpetually covered in paint. Remember to wear rubber gloves when you're painting. It'll save you a load of hassle, but yeah. This side, calipers are done. So that's all done. And I started the blacking of the inside of the arches, but I only had a bit of that kind of like underbody spray thing. So it ran out. But this one's looking better. And this one is starting to, like, I got it down on this side, but not this side. I've got some more coming. We'll finish that and the rest in the next day or two. But now I need to balance the wheels before I put them back on. And usually, if you're going to do it at home, you do it with a bubble balancer, which is like a tool that put the wheel on and it balances it with a little bubble. Don't have one. Trying to find one because I don't know if I can be bothered to buy one for only doing one set of wheels. What will happen is either I'll find one in the next day or two and we'll take these ones off and then we'll balance all the wheels and put everything back together, or I'll balance those two, put them on, flip the car, you know what I mean. Or I just have to take them all to Halfords or, you know, equivalent, because that does need doing. There were weights on them, so they clearly are requiring balancing. So yeah, but progress. One more, I think, small amount of work and I can just put the wheels back on and we are good to boogie, and we can take then a final look at basically is it the complete car? Dangerously close to a complete car. Another lovely sunny day means I can get this done finally, so I'm using this Hammerite Underseal stuff. It's got wax soil, wax soil, and it's really good for the, see how dark this looks now? That's good, because it'll really like frame the wheel nicely. But I've just sprayed it liberally on the inside of both of the arches for 2 coats, so that's all nice and dark now. Really should do this bit, but then I've got to mask it all off, and I couldn't be bothered to remove. Actually, for this side I could just, I do need to do it, don't I? Mask off these, paint these bits of the rotor, obviously careful not to get it on the actual face of the rotor, and then yeah, obviously mask off my spacers, and just try not to get anything on the pad, the caliper. This caliper had an issue yesterday, so I've got to digital cut that in a minute, and then reapply that and the top coat. So I've got to mask all this off again anyway, so yeah, it makes sense. While I'm in here, let's just get these bits painted black, and then honestly I think we're going to be there. I've got to do the same on the other side today, but yeah, I think we're pretty much good. This has got to be my favourite part of the process when you're doing this. Oh, sweet baby. That, my friends, is the good shit. Before I did it, I was not sure that I could be bothered to like take off all the plastics under these arches and repaint them black and do the rusty bit around the rotor, but yeah, I'm glad I did. That's made a big difference. And the car is all up in the air, which is a thing I hate doing. I never trust jack stands, even though, you know, we have to trust jack stands. But yeah, it's up in the air. 2 wheels that were on are behind me, and so I wasn't able to find a bubble balancer. So these wheels are coming with me to Halfords tomorrow morning. I've got a session booked in order to balance them, so I'm just gonna let them do it, save myself the hassle. And ooh, my trousers are falling apart. I need more work trousers. Actually, that's the point, isn't it? Yeah, so we're gonna let Halfords balance them, and that means tomorrow we can put the wheels on, put it back on the ground. Is it done? I've got one piece of trim on the inside that needs Alcantaring before JDM Coombe next weekend, but I think then we're basically done. Other than some like changes here and there, I would like some slightly larger spacers, and there's a few components on the inside that need swapping out. I think then I'm ready for the big road trip next month to the ring. More on that later. But I don't think there's anything more I can do today. I just need to sit and wait for the passing of time until tomorrow, when the wheels will be done and we can put them back on. But lovely. Morning we came and dropped off the wheels at National Tyres Autocentre, part of Halfords, and Ryan here, come on Ryan, did all the work for us. How are the wheels looking? They okay?
Mate, they were really good actually, to be honest, but I think the highest weight that I put into them was about 45, and that was on one of the fronts, I believe it was. I think it was that one there was 40. The rest were all basic 10s, 20s,
great,
15s, like, you know what I mean? You have a look all behind the wheels.
Oh, it's not knocking.
Yeah, they all them over like 10s and all that. Like,
great.
And then, but yeah, man, apart from that, they were really, really good. We're not knocking them all over.
That's great. Well, I appreciate it. Great, it saved me a load of hassle. Cheers, buddy.
I bet, man.
Right, so we're going to take these home now, stick them in the Honda, take them home, stick them back on the car, get it on the ground, and we're going to go driving for the first time in like 2 months this afternoon, so looking forward to that. So let's get them home, put them on the car, and see how they do. Obviously all the caps need to go back on, and I'm just going to put this as the top of the logo on each one so that they're all nice and aligned. I really should treat these wheels to some nice new lug nuts, and probably some black ones because it will go with the wheel a bit better. But for today I'm just going to put the original ones back on. And as always, star pattern. Just starting by like finger tightening everything down, and then we'll drop the car and then actually tighten everything with the torque afterwards. Everything is on and finger tight, so let's put this thing on the ground. I should probably do the back first because that's got the handbrake and less chance of anything rolling, so let's do it. Oh damn, I think it's done. Before we take a final look at these wheels on the car, let me show you something genius. Now, loads of people keep a torque wrench in their car. That is not the genius bit. The genius bit is how easy it is to lose this thing and your lock nut. So what I've done is under here, down where the suicide jack is kept, I've 3D made and 3D printed this little bad boy, and that goes in that, and then that goes in that, and I never ever lose those little bolts, and they're in the car with me all the time. So if I ever have any problems, I got them, and I've got my torque wrench, and I know exactly where they are. Big brain time. So obviously the car really is in need of a clean. But let's take a look at it with the new bronze wheels, red calipers and blacked out arches. Being as it's all fresh and hopefully, you know, all good, we should probably take it around the block, or go for a little drive and just see if everything is balanced, and, you know, repressurize the brakes and everything. Heck, it is warm in here. Time for the sound that will never get old. And you can can hear the beep in the background because I had to jump it because it was dead. God, it feels like ages since I've driven this. Let's check the brakes straight off, yeah. Okay, I did pump the brakes a bit before we started. Well, my wheels haven't immediately fallen off, so that's good. Brakes are good. Yeah, now let's just go put some juice in the battery. A few minutes out, a bit of 30-mile-an-hour driving, absolutely flawless. I've got no vibrations, nothing. I'm just going to go on a little loop that allows me to get up to 70 because if it's not vibrating by 70, it's probably not going to be vibrating at all. And you know, beyond that, it's rare that I'm going to ever have that problem anyway. Obviously, going to the Nürburgring in a few weeks, if it is going to pick up anywhere, it's going to pick up there and on the Autobahn, but I think we'll be fine. So yeah, just let's get a bit of speed in it. If I ever get tired of that noise, just kill me because I'm already dead. 40 mile an hour is fine. Absolutely no vibrations. My steering wheel is like 7 degrees off to the left because I need an alignment, but that's a whole other thing. We unleash hell, basically, in 3, 2, 1. Ooh, that is smoother than it was. There was a little bit of shake there at 70. This is 70. Put the windows up because you probably can't hear me, but there was a little bit of shake at 70. And now at 70 it is smooth. Mwah, mamma mia! That's a spicy meatball! Love it. Love you, little car. I was so sad when I sell you to buy something even older and more broken. Well, fair play and thanks to Ryan at the Autocentre for doing that balancing. That has come out great. And I think we're issue free with nothing as like immediately chipped or fallen apart. Brake paints haven't melted, probably because I spent all that time heating them properly. I'm very, very happy with the outcome of this. So, what did doing this all cost in the end? Because we want to know, is it actually cost effective to do it this way compared to having them powder coated? So let's add everything up. We had 2 cans of the E-Tech primer, which we used over all 4 of the wheels. That was £17.50. We had 4 cans of the Ray's Racing Bronze. That was £50 for the 4 cans plus tax and delivery and all that, came to £70. Then you've got the lacquer, so we had 2 cans of the E-Tech wheel lacquer, which again came to about £17.50. Then I bought 2 cans of the red and 2 cans of the lacquer for the calipers, but I actually only used 1. So that combination of the red and the lacquer together was £20. Then the Autocentre balancing with a £5 monthly voucher thing that I get, and I'm not sure if I got trade discount or not, but that was another £25, which puts our total price to doing the whole thing, all 4 wheels and the calipers, at £155. Oh no, wait, I've forgotten the stuff that I used to black out the inside of the arches. I used 2 cans of that and some black paint that I already had, so that was another 20, so £175 to do the whole lot. I actually don't think that's too bad. If you're going to go and get your wheels powder coated, yes, you'll get a fantastic job and you'll probably get somebody else doing the hard work of smoothing all your rash and everything, and that's the bit that is, you know, a bit of a pain and takes the time. But you're going to pay probably 50 to 80 pound a wheel, depending on, you know, your location in the country or whatever. And then the calipers, I don't know what that would cost to have done professionally. I'd say a couple of £100 to have all 4 done. Plus then you're going to need to have your bouncing done anyway, but most people who powder coat wheels will bounce them again anyway for you, so that's probably including that. So you might end up in the 350, 400, maybe north of that, depending on what you want to have done on your wheels. So we're looking at about a third to a half of the cost of paying people to do it. And honestly, I think it was worth doing it that way. It took best part of a week, and so the car was off the road for that time. But you know, if you've got another car you're tootling about in, doing that on your project car, I think is actually not too difficult of a process. You just gotta, you know, make sure you take the time to get rid of the trouble bits, but otherwise I think it's worth it. One final look at the result. Yeah, with that all done, it's actually almost time to just, you know, start enjoying the car. It's the middle of summer, and you know, events are coming up. Big one is I'm at JDM Coombe the weekend after this, so next weekend, and really looking forward to taking the car along and seeing what people think of it. And maybe I'll find someone there with a 300ZX who wants to swap. Ha ha! I laugh, but it's probably going to happen. If you want to see the rest of the journey with this car and whatever comes after it, make sure you hit subscribe, because we've got loads more coming, and whatever you do with the rest of your day, have a wicked one. I'll see you in the next video, folks. Take it easy. Bye bye.